see what's going on. I guess we'll try not to laugh as hard this time since what's happening in this country is a complete joke.
Right?
Yeah. We take it seriously enough, but if you don't laugh, you're crying.
Yeah, I'd rather not be doing that.
We wouldn't want to offend anybody by laughing at the corruption that's happening here in Canada today. Hi, everybody. We're just waiting here for a couple seconds and we're going to get into it. I guess before we start, we want to say thank you for all the feedback on our last video we did regarding the School of Dalla Lana. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. We're going live from two different devices, so if you catch us in one direction or another, we're not trying to be rude. We're just trying to get the info out there. I want to start off by saying there's a little bit of confusion around Canada Day at Vanier Park with the Freedom Morgue, so I'm going to clear this up right here, right now. We, the Freedom Morgue ladies, are running a Love and Light music festival. There will be no speeches or anything like that. We are just going to vibe and ride high and have a day of normalcy. No other groups and no other person is affiliated with this event. Everyone's welcome, but we aren't working with anybody in regards to this. It's just the four of us ladies and a handful of volunteers behind the scenes. And you guys, if you guys are donating, like, we can't thank you enough. This event is 150,000% free. I don't know why I'm getting messages saying, why are we charging $20 to get in? We are not charging anything to get in, nothing. Okay, it's 150,000% free. The $20 was if you wanted to enter the raffle for the e-bike provided by Voltaire, which is phenomenal. So that's up to you. You can go to our website, thefreedommorgue.ca, and you can e-transfer $20 a ticket, I believe it is, and add your contact information, that kind of stuff. So I hope I cleared that up. We are not affiliated with any group with regards to this event. We are bringing the crew to perform the summer anthem, No New Normal, because the song just kicks so much butt. And if you haven't checked it out, check it out. Canada Rising Up, Philippe and Ty, No New Normal. Catch it. Go find it on Apple, iTunes. It's amazing. I think Spotify too, but I don't know how any of that stuff works. You know, technically declined on this end. I know. We fake it. Anyways, I'm sitting here with Christine Colbeck again today, and we're joining you on behalf of Children's Health Defence Canada. What we want to talk about today is, there's a couple things. So we're going to talk about the court cases. We're going to try and walk you through how to empower yourself, because it's basically a kangaroo court. And I mean, Christine's pretty much representing people and getting them through it on their own. So we just wanted to give you guys some ammo to go into things so you know what to expect. Anyways, I'm going to give it up to you, and you can walk people through this court thing. Explain how all of this came about and how you got into it.
Well, as a lot of you know, that I started this in 2017 to 2019, I was representing people in the Health Service Appeal and Review Board cases against public health. And so, surprise, surprise, that was my training grounds. So when people started getting the tickets for going to rallies or trespass cases for simply going into a store without a mask, getting charged with trespass, I have about 20 cases right now that I'm helping people through. And so what is happening is what we have to talk about. So essentially the process is you show up at your Zoom court date, you get your ticket, whatever, from the place, and then you sign that you want to go to court, unless you get the criminal charge, which is the one you have to go to court for. So however you get there, you get to court, and then you have to, you go to a Zoom court, And it's a waste of time, actually. I mean, and it's deliberately wasting your time. So you show up there and you wait. And so here's the first thing you're going to learn when you get there. The people who want to plead guilty, and this is even if you go to in-person court, the people who want to plead guilty, they hear their cases first. So you get punished for being innocent right from the start. And so you waste, at least an hour, and you go there and you say, okay, I need disclosure. And then they tell you who to contact to get your disclosure. And disclosure is the evidence they have against you. It's in writing. They will send it to you. And so that's all you go for. The very first time you show up there, you say you want disclosure, and then they say they put the matter forward, so they remand it basically for about 4 weeks. So 20 cases later, we've had 20 waste of times. Like, it's like 20 hours of your time, right? Because each of these times you go to court takes about an hour just to do that. And they make you wait till last, and it's on purpose. And if you're even unfortunate enough to get phone court, so some of them are Zoom court and some are phone court. So the phone courts are the worst. You phone a phone number and you sit on hold with the worst music, where you're literally punished. By the time you finish waiting on hold with that music, you are never going to ever break the law again. Like, you are already redeemed, right? So
you can't laugh. Don't laugh in these lives, because it's annoying and people get offended. So we apologize for laughing already.
Yes. And I'm not going to apologize that I've spent 20 hours of my life in waste of time courts. So then fast forward, the next step is you go back to court again. That 4 weeks later, you go back to court. And now you have your disclosure, which is essentially the same thing that's written on your ticket.
Maybe, though. You might not have your disclosure yet.
Yes, if you don't have disclosure yet, then it's rinse and repeat. You go and waste another hour of your life going through the exact same thing, saying, I need disclosure, put the matter forward for 4 weeks. And so then you finally get disclosure. They email it to you. It's essentially the exact same thing as your ticket. It says, Sally went to a protest against the Emergency Measures Act, and violated whatever. And so that's all that says in your disclosure too. But you can't proceed without that. So finally, now you get your disclosure. You show up there and you say, I have my disclosure, and now I need to book a pretrial conference, or a pretrial, they call it. So essentially what a pretrial is, it's a conference that you just meet with, or your lawyer or your representative meet with the Crown, the prosecutor, right? The person who wants to convict you. So you have a private off-the-record meeting with him or her. And the whole purpose of this meeting is, people don't know that the Crown, they have like this hockey card and they keep a score. It's like a scorecard. And so if the Crown doesn't get enough scores, doesn't get enough convictions, then they lose their job, right? And so they have to have a lot of convictions, and they can't afford to lose too many cases. And how they make sure that happens is they choose their cases very wisely, which ones will go to court and which ones they'll throw out. And so what we're seeing happening is the Crown meets with you in this off-the-record kind of situation to talk about your ticket that you've received for going to a protest or going to a store without a mask. And
all within your rights.
Yeah, all within your rights
for now.
But these are trumped up charges for the sole purpose of just discouraging people and beating you into compliance, right?
It's fear tactic.
It's by a tyrannical government. Like, there's no excuse for them doing this to people. So you go to court, and then this Zoom call or phone call, you say, yes, I'd like to have the pretrial conference. And so then you get that in another month, or sometimes it's 4 months away. So then you go to the pretrial conference, and it's you and the Crown attorney, and they say, well, what's your evidence? Like, how are you going to get out of this? Because you're saying you're not guilty. So they want to know everything that you're going to use to beat them. Before even going to court, right?
Yeah.
And so they go to court. So now they know does this person have enough evidence that they're going to win and I'm going to have a bad scorecard and then I'm going to get fired as the Crown attorney? Or is this person like a losing case? They're not educated, they're here self-representing, or do they have good support? Do they have a really good lawyer representing them? They're totally feeling you out for that. And so what they do is, at that point, they generally dismiss your case because they know they can't win. When you are exercising your charter rights, they cannot infringe upon your charter rights until they prove that it was warranted and measured, and they can't do that, and they know they can't do that. And so they would, at that point, they need to dismiss your case, because if they take you to court and lose, it's going to look very badly on their, you know, their record,
On
their
the
scorecard.
record. Yeah. And what happens if they lose too many times?
Yeah, they lose their job. They get replaced as, you know, the Crown attorney.
So smoke and mirrors.
Well, what they're doing is they are now going to these pre-trial hearings, and they're realizing, okay, well, we're not going to win this case, so they don't want to book a trial. And so what they're doing is now they're booking a second pre-trial hearing because they don't want to dismiss your case right now, because the whole point is to keep you guys all locked up in court, because they don't want to dismiss your cases, and then you go on do a Zoom or a video and say, hey guys, look, I got dismissed. Look at my case got dismissed because we've been saying it from the beginning. They can't fine you for this kind of stuff. These tickets are not going to be successful in court. They're not going to win. They don't want you in court setting these legal precedents. So they're keeping you out of court by spinning you in circles in kangaroo court. So you're going to these over and over. So today, the one person who has a ticket.
And we love her because she likes to tell the story on Instagram, and a lot of you will know exactly who this is
about her
to follow.
Yes, and she has many of them.
She's awesome.
Yes, and so she went today to her first appearance for one of her tickets, and they booked her next one.
Get this.
For September
1st?
September 1st, yes. So that is like months away. So they are keeping these cases just locked up in...
Keeping them alive.
Yeah, they're just keeping them alive, but they're not letting you go to a judge. They don't want you to go before a judge. They're just keeping you in limbo because they don't want people going out and saying, look, just keep going to the protests, just keep going to the stores without masks. They can't charge you with what they're charging you with. And this is their whole goal, that they're kind of, poor Crown attorneys are kind of in a hard place right now, because they literally are being told, you better not be dismissing these cases, but they know they can't win them. So they're just keeping you in limbo.
Elizabeth has a good point. If they lose, it also sets a precedent.
Right, and they don't want us setting precedents, and that's why they're keeping these cases in the pretrial conferences, because they're off the record.
Right.
There's no judge there. It's just you and the Crown meet, and he sizes you up and measures your case and decides. And you know what else they're looking for right now? They're looking for the weak links. They're looking to find a case that's really bad that they can set the precedent they want to set, the negative one. They want to find that one person that they can convict. So I have this joke that we should show up to these cases, and we should like pretend we're really not intelligent and not knowledgeable about the law, and we should show up and we should say, well, you know, I'm probably really guilty. We should go to the pre-trial conference and say that.
Oh, don't laugh.
And pretend like we're really, really not intelligent. And then the Crown attorney is going to totally size us up and say, easy win. That's an easy win. I should totally take them to court. And then when we get to court, then show them like, you know, what we really have behind us.
Rake them.
Yes, and then we can, just to get us ourselves into court, right? And we can set the precedent that we want to set. And so I wonder if there's any laws against tricking the Crown attorney into giving you a day in court with a judge, an actual
they keep
judge.
Changing the laws to suit their own narratives and agendas. I don't know why playing dumb would constitute anything other than what they're doing.
Yeah. See, and this is Mary saying, yeah, she's been remanded 3 times already. And that's exactly what they're doing. It's just a joke. And I actually know which court you're in, Mary. And The
We're
one
following
court is,
along.
Yeah.
We're following along.
And he's a special kind of Crown attorney.
Uh-huh.
He's one of the ones who really likes to put things over for 4 months. He just did that.
Well, yeah.
So we also have a another case that is the trespass case. That one is put over, I think, until October
because of a mask exemption.
Yeah, somebody went into a store with a medical mask exemption, and the store called the police, and the police came, and the person had already left by then, but the store wouldn't serve this person, and they took a photo of her license plate and gave it to the police. And this is the OPP. So this is the Ontario Provincial Police, who should know provincial laws, you would think, being provincial police. We're not talking bylaw here where we wouldn't expect them to know actual laws. So Ontario Provincial Police came to her door and demanded to see her medical mask exemption from her doctor. They wanted her medical records, and she said absolutely not. And the law actually prohibits it. The provincial law prohibits anyone from asking. It specifically states that in the law that they can't ask for any medical records of proof of your exemption. It states that right in the Reopening Ontario Act.
So they in
regulation.
Trouble.
Yes, and so they definitely don't want to go to court. No wonder they put it over till October. They don't want a judge to know.
October. And when did this start? This was like way at the beginning almost.
Yeah, I think that case was
last
from
summer.
Like November. I think that was a November ticket. November.
Yes, you guys can share this wherever you want. Education is empowerment. Share it anywhere you want, right? So yeah, we're good. You don't
feel
have to
confident. Feel confident to go. So the first 2 times you can go by yourself. You don't need any representation. Just go and show up to these Zoom court things and just say, I want disclosure. And then they'll put your matter forward for about 4 weeks or 4 months now.
You have to disclose your medical exemption in court?
No, you do not. And so at the human rights level, you do. At the human rights level, they will ask you for proof of your medical exemption if you're doing a human rights case. But if you're in a provincial court, no, they're not allowed to ask for it because the provincial law actually prohibits that. So you do not need to disclose that to them. It's your option. I mean, you can show up to court and bring your medical exemption, but it doesn't matter if you say you have an exemption. You don't even have to say it's a medical exemption. You just have to say you have an exemption because they're not entitled to ask you for proof.
And that's the law.
Yeah. So then, you go the first time and they'll put it forward for a few weeks. They'll email you the disclosure. Then you go back the second time. You tell them you've got the disclosure now. And then you ask for the pretrial conference. Then you schedule that in a couple of weeks or months. And then you go to the pretrial conference and you talk to the Crown attorney. And at that point, if they feel you have a good case, they should drop your case by then, but what they're doing right now is just putting it forward to another pretrial conference. But alternatively, they could book you a trial date, which would be a couple of weeks or a couple of months away. And then at that point, you should reach out and get someone to help you out with just making sure you have a good understanding of your rights and why you're allowed to go out and protest without being ticketed or fined or threatened in any way. And so that at that point, you should reach out. Like you can reach out to us through Children's Health Defense Canada, and we can certainly get something in place for everybody who wants to fight this. But at the end, they're going to have to throw out all these tickets. They're just waiting as long as possible because they don't want you to know.
No, and it's already falling apart in the States. Like it's exploded. It's done, right? So Canada's sucking the last little bit it can up to get the
vaccine
vaccination. Don't say that word. You'll get me kicked out. The vaccine. Right? So there's that. So if you guys have any questions or whatever, you can email us at childrenshealthdefense.ca. You can get a hold of us there. We're happy to do all of these types of educational videos for you and walk you through certain things if that's what you want. The other thing we wanted to talk about today, are you done with the courts?
Yeah, and everything we're doing with that is pro bono, absolutely pro bono. And if anyone wants to go to the Constitutional Rights Center and donate there, we have the education case for the children. Go and click on the button, education case, donate there, because every single thing that we're doing with all of this is just all volunteer on our part. So if anyone wants to help out, that's great.
You're on. What is done in the States? Oh, the narrative. The narrative. The States is mostly open. In Ontario, Canada, we are locked down. We are masked up. We are, 5 people to look at each other in person, that kind of stuff. Like, it's just ridiculous. And it's over here as well. So people can keep repeating the narrative. Yes. It's done.
Well, now we just opened patios. So now you have to, when you go to a patio, you're supposed to walk in with your mask on. Outdoors. You walk outdoors with your mask on, and then you have to sit down. Then you can take your mask off, and then all of a sudden, COVID is gone.
Right.
We're back to that. Like, I feel
and it knows that you sat down.
Well, of course, because as soon as you stand up, if you have to go to the bathroom or something, you have to put your mask back on.
Well, and not only that, but even at like ATMs, it doesn't know to go sideways.
Oh,
right.
Yeah,
it can go forward, but it can't go sideways to the guy at the next ATM. Yeah. So. Keep that in mind, friends.
That COVID is so
crazy.
Smart.
It is crazy.
Really smart.
It's got a mind of its own. Mm-hmm. Next, what do we want to talk about? Let's bring up the universities and the mandates they're trying to push through for students staying at the dorm. No. So we've got Western, we've got Fanshawe, we've got Trent, we've got U of T, and I'm missing one. I know, School of Dalalana.
Yes, I mean, shocking.
Sorry,
right?
guys, I'm not trying to offend anybody except people in the Dalalana.
Yeah.
I'm missing one though. Who was it? Not Niagara.
Was it?
Oh well, it doesn't matter.
Queens?
Anyways, you'll get the idea. Queens. I think it is Queens. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Maybe not. Sorry.
So we have a few in Canada, but we also have some that are already speaking out and saying they're not going to require it. And isn't McMaster one that's not going to require it?
Not. And Guelph.
And Guelph for sure.
Guelph.
I know.
And who comes out of Guelph University?
Dr.
Who's
Byram Brittle.
Mm-hmm. Putting out warnings. Watch that spike protein, friends.
Yes. And so it's great that, so he has spoken out about this, and it is very clear that the trick to this is they cannot ask for your medical records because, did we put that on the website? The Privacy Commissioner.
Rise Up Canada did.
Yay. So go there.
And we shared it on Children's Health Defense Canada. We are working with Rise Up Canada in this
on that
regard
case.
to
universities.
Inform you guys on how this works, because your rights trump this. So for them to turn around and say, maybe we'll just do this and see how it works.
Well, they're trying to get around the charter by putting it onto the universities. And this is kind of like a practice run. So they're all declaring like we're going to demand for these, vaccinations. And then there's the other ones who are saying they're absolutely not requiring it. And the reason they are stating they are not requiring it is because it violates your medical privacy and the medical privacy laws that exist. So in Canada, we have a privacy commissioner, and the provinces also have privacy commissioners. So if you've heard of HIPAA, like Personal Health Information Protection Act, it states clearly in these laws that they cannot compel you to disclose your medical records at all. And so the Privacy Commissioner came out with a statement on that, and that's the one that is on Rise Up, the statement from the Privacy Commissioner, and they're saying that the consent to give your medical records has to be voluntary. They're not allowed to coerce you to get your medical records. So they can't say, well, you have to...
but they're going to try.
Yes, in order to buy goods in the store, you have to show proof of your passport, your vaccination passport. And so the Privacy Commissioner has made a statement on that right now, they are not allowed to ask for that. There's not enough evidence to show that these vaccinations are effective. And until that is shown, that they cannot at this point. They can't condone any kind of measures, any kind of laws, any kind of requirement for you to be compelled to share your medical records. And so at this time, that's the statement from the Privacy Commissioner, and the universities cannot overstep not only your charter and your human rights, they can't overstep the existing laws and just say, oh, well, we're just going to require that for a service, right? So they can't do that.
So that's a relief.
But we also have on the Children's Health Defence Canada website, we have an exemption. So if
they've pulled it off the government website, which doesn't matter because all you need to do is get it notarized. So children'shealthdefense.ca, we've uploaded an exemption form. We've also got another form to talk about, but we'll finish this first.
So it's an affidavit. So what all you need to do is you fill out the form yourself if you want to have an affidavit. Say your employer said you need to get the vaccination to work in healthcare or something, and you don't want to. You can tell them, I'm not disclosing my private medical records, and you can fight them and win using the Privacy Commission route. But in the future, if the Privacy Commissioner, if he changes his tune,
we'll be back here talking around that too.
Then all you need to do is go onto the website of children'shealthdefensecanada.ca, and you just go there and you print out, it's a PDF, print out the exemption form, and then you fill it out, and then you have to have it notarized by a lawyer or a commissioner of oaths. And a commissioner of oaths can be an MP, it can be an MPP, it can be a commissioner of oaths who works for the city. And those ones don't tend to charge for it. They do it for free. A lawyer might charge you, $50 or $100 to do it. Some lawyers do them for free. And so get that filled out, and it becomes, as soon as it's notarized by a commissioner of oaths or a lawyer or MP, it becomes an affidavit. And now this is your legal affidavit stating that you're exempt from the requirement to receive any type of vaccination. And so they cannot compel you.
So Katerina wants to know, so do exemptions work for the workplace or only schools?
No, it's for anywhere. It can work for schools, it can work for university, it can work for the workplace. You could fill one out if your family won't let you come to Sunday dinner unless you have the vaccination. You can say, okay, look, I filled this out and now I'm legally exempt because this is an affidavit.
Yeah.
And then it becomes a matter for the court. If they don't want to accept your legal document, your legal affidavit, then it becomes a matter for the court. And if they don't accept it at that point, then you can file a court case against them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So that's that topic. We've got one more for you. What we want to talk about is the liability form that we have uploaded to the website as well. And I'm going to let Christine talk about that as well, because she's got the legal mumbo jumbo down, and I just don't. So here we go. I'm going to post it, though, in the chat. Sorry. And when we're done this live, I'm going to post it in my bio link so you guys can have access to it. There's a post already in my Instagram somewhere with regards to this liability form that we posted. So I will have it in the bio when this is over for Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and whatnot. I have got it right here. I'm going to post it here. It won't let me do it on my own personal page. So if you go to Vaxxed Canada, where we are broadcasting as well, you'll find it there. Okay, so just wanted to let you guys know. It won't let me post anything to my personal page. I don't know, it's weird. So yeah, here we go. Here it is. Awesome. So I'm going to pull it up here. Do you need to look at it?
No, I have it.
Oh, do you have it? Okay, then let's talk about it.
Yeah, so this is like a notice of liability. So you can print this out again from the Children's Health Defence Canada website. And this is just serving as a notice that anyone who requires you, like your employer or a university or whatever, that it violates certain laws, and this outlines which laws specifically that it violates. So one of the laws it violates is the one I always talk about. One of my favorite laws is the Healthcare Consent Act. And a lot of people don't know, but the Healthcare Consent Act was actually written from the Nuremberg Code. So the Nuremberg Laws that came out, the Healthcare Consent Act is based off of that. And it's like a healthcare act. And all doctors have to abide by it. And, and it is a law. So essentially, you can go there. There's a link to it on this page. It's only one page. We wanted to keep it really simple because sometimes when people talk about the law, it can get very complicated, more than necessary. And so we kept this really simple because your employer or your children's educational facility, they probably are not very well versed in the law. But if they show this to their lawyer will understand that that you're right. And so, so if you go to the Healthcare Consent Act, Section 11, and it states right in there that your consent has to be voluntary to take one of these products. So if they're trying to compel you to take a vaccination, then they're violating that law. And that law exists. Like there's nothing yet has come out and overwritten that law. It hasn't been, repealed or anything yet. And until that happens, it's still a law, and they need to respect it. They can't just make up laws because it's convenient, and that's not how the law works. So they can go in and read Section 11, and they can realize, oh, look at that. You have a right to have informed consent, and consent must be it has to be voluntary. So in other words, they can't say, well, you can't come and live in the university residence unless you submit yourself and get that vaccination, because they will.
The wind's drowning out.
Oh, no.
IG. Sorry. We'll try and speak louder. Let us know if that happens again.
Oh, it's because we have a better speaker on here.
On this side, but it's not
okay.
attached to the phone.
Sorry. Yes. So, but if you go on, you can read all of this on the website, on the notice of liability. You can go and read all of this stuff. So Amanda's going to post it. You'll be able to read it all. You don't need me to tell you about it, but I'm going to anyways. Because some of the things it doesn't say in there is it doesn't say that the Healthcare Consent Act was written from the Nuremberg Laws. And the Nuremberg Laws came from the Nuremberg trials, after we had to try all of those war crimes. Yes. Does that ring a bell? So it couldn't be more fitting than to use them
2.0
right now. Yes, we need to use those laws right now to protect yourself, your family, from these. Essentially, these are like war crimes, right? They're crimes against humanity. And so the other one is, there's the Canadian Human Rights Act. So that is, for example, if you have a religious belief or a medical disability. For example, what if you already have thrombocytopenia, right? And that is blood clotting disorder. They just don't call it that when you get the jab, and then it says, "Oh, you got the blood clotting disorder." They don't tell you that it's actually called thrombocytopenia. And so, if you already have that, and some people do already have it, then
wait for that wind to go by. So that
it just all of a sudden came.
I know. It's like Earth censorship.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. We're laughing again. Don't laugh. All right. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, so if you go to the Human Rights Commission and you say, they won't give me service, they won't let me live in residence, they're telling me I can't come to work, whatever, because I'm not agreeing to get the vaccinations, they're not only violating the Healthcare Consent Act, they're violating your human rights. And so this is well established. It's all across Canada. This is not just provincially, but you have like a commission in each province that you can go in and fight and file a case against and say, we actually had in Toyota, the big company, we had people who were not being given mask exemptions in the workplace. They were not being honored. And they went to the Human Rights Commission, and now all of a sudden they're getting mask exemptions in the workplace, in the factory, right? So it's very successful. And then there's also the Universal Declaration on Bioethics and Human Rights. And that's all about human like experimentation. laws that protect you.
Right. Now, sorry, post a link to the affidavit letter. You have to go, it's not letting me comment on my own page. So you go to children'shealthdefense.ca and then you go to the advocacy tab along the top. And all of our tools are loaded up in there. Okay. And we'll let you know as we add and remove and whatever. So we're going to try to stay above or ahead of all of this stuff for you guys. So hopefully that works. And I hope that answered your question, Susan. Okay.
Yeah, and so also this notice of liability, it also talks about, for children, that the mature minor doctrine, it cannot override the consent of parents outside of the, emergency threat of imminent harm or death. So vaccinations do not fall under the mature minor doctrine. They absolutely don't. And so they can't go around you and get your children's consent.
Now explain what the mature minor doctrine was created for, because people need to have this very clear. You need to have this in your head. If you're a parent, you need to understand to repeat this for when someone uses this on you. It was created for what? Do you remember?
Well, it was for, if you have an emergency situation. And so we had a Native child in Canada where the child was terminally ill and did not want to receive chemotherapy, radiation kind of mainstream treatments, and they were Native and they wanted to receive Native treatments. And so the doctors, they fought and said they wanted to have the child submit to this kind of stuff, and the child said no and went to court, and they fought for the right to decline treatment that would be considered, probably in mainstream terms, as life-saving. But she won. She won the right to be able to essentially choose to end her life. And I believe she was only 11 years old. She was very young. So when it's an emergency like that, you actually need a court to come in, and a judge needs to decide and rule on this. You can't just have them line up and give them ice cream and say this mature minor doctrine thing. And the World Health Organization is totally exploiting that and putting it out there that, now the mature minor doctrine means that, kids can consent against their parents' wishes. That's not true.
It's not true.
No, it's just misinformation, but it's very, very typical of public health to do.
And they gaslight the information, so you don't know which end is up. So it's important to know and understand. You still have the right as the parent. This does not fly. Anything else?
Yeah, and so for employment, then there's the anti-discrimination laws. And if you're unionized, unless it's written in your union contract that you need to submit to this jab. So if you're already employed somewhere, go and get your contract, your employment contract, and check if it says in there that they're allowed to do that. And if you haven't already signed to consent to that, then they cannot ask you at all. You're actually even further protected if you're unionized. And so that's very important for teachers, especially, because right now they're pushing you very hard to,
submit.
Yeah. And a lot of teachers are feeling very pressured that they might not be able to work and teach if they don't comply. That's not true. Your union, unless it's already written in your contract, then you need to push back and say that's not in my contract, and you can't make me do that. And your union needs to start working for you. Mm-hmm. You don't work for them.
No, they're there to protect you, not the other way around. Otherwise, why do we need them?
Yep. And so that's basically what is written on the notice of liability. It's very simple. We kept it to one page. The U.S. Children's Health Defense came out with a very, very similar notice of liability, but it was all American-based. So we did the Canadian-based one with the Canadian laws. You just print it out and you just give one to your employer, your school, your whatever, or just keep one handy in your wallet. And if you run into any problems, then you have it there.
Right. Awesome. Srini MF, she only sees the liability form in there. I'm just going to take a quick look while we're here, you guys.
Yes, so the liability form's in there. The other one's under legal.
The exemption
is under legal.
Oh, shoot. sorry guys, I'm just taking a quick look just to, so I can direct you. Legal case, here we go. Oh yeah, now it doesn't want to do anything. Here we go. Education case in a way redacted. Yes, COVID vaccine exemption.
Affidavit.
Yep, it's in legal case across the top, so you can find it there. Okay, and print that off, have it notarized, and away you go.
And under the legal case too is there's a link there that you can just click on to go to the Constitutional Rights Center. And if anyone wants to go there to donate to the children's education legal case, they really need our help right now because they're children. They can't just go and pull a mature minor doctrine statement out of their pocket. They're not informed. They're not educated. They're not able to defend themselves against a lot of this misinformation that's coming for them right now.
Yeah.
And so
but they're making it look cool for them to take it. Like it's just gross what's happening. It's a complete marketing scam for these kids, and they're being indoctrinated into it. And
that's why we have to fight it legally.
Yes.
It's the only hope for them because they really need the grown-ups to go in there and make sure that their rights are being respected in a legal, medical, ethical way. And that's exactly what the case is about.
Yeah.
So if you have anything extra to donate to that, go in and donate to that. Go directly to the Constitutional Rights Center, or you can go to the children'shealthdefense.ca page, and there's a link there that you go directly to the Constitutional Rights Center and donate to the kids, to the case.
Awesome.
We appreciate it.
So thanks for joining us today, you guys. We're so grateful that you guys support us. And if there's anything you want to hear about, let us know. We'll dig into it and come back and see if we can get you any of the information that you're needing or wanting or whatever. Also, we're on Instagram, Children's Health Defense Canada, YouTube. That's not up and running yet, but it's coming. Children's Health Defense Canada, Facebook, as well as
Twitter.
Go and follow. Yeah, on Twitter. Sorry, I'm not a
tweeter.
I got kicked off, so I don't even know how it works anymore. Also, follow Rise Up Canada. They post a lot of really good stuff with call to actions and whatnot. Just take control of the situation. You can make a difference. I don't want to keep repeating myself because it gets annoying for people watching, but take back your power, empower yourself with education and information that's provided to you. The mainstream media can say all they want about how this is misinformation, this is not. We're working on the inside. We have access to all of these doctors and people speaking out. We have access to the lawyers that are fighting these people. Like, I think Scully's even in court right now and no one's heard a word. So you can go and follow his case right on his Instagram page as well. Stay informed. Know what's going on. Mainstream media is playing on your ignorance. Don't let them win. Okay? So anyways, we appreciate you all. Thanks for tuning in. Join us on Canada Day, freedomorg.ca, Love and Light Music Festival. We appreciate you all. Have a great day, guys. Oh, here we go. Download, and let's move this.
Let's start.
Dun, dun, dun.
Did you end it this time?
Did I?
No.
I didn't even. Sorry, guys. Dun, dun, dun.
You're so funny to do it.
This is hilarious. I am so technologically declined. It's not funny. I am trying and it won't go.